Okay, I'll maximize this. Okay, and I'll load up my project. So what we're going to do today is we're going to add a new reviewer. And the one thing that's a little bit different is we're going to add a drop-down list to the form so that you can choose like which book you want to review. So there's a lot of controls here we haven't played with, like drop-down list, which we'll do today, but there's also like check boxes and bullets, or radio boxes, and all the different tools. You can actually do all of them. We just haven't.
Should we add those things then when we create the controller or?
Well, I'll show you how to do the drop-down list. You could do the others. I mean, I would suggest playing with them, looking it up and look, If I do this class again, maybe I will one of the things, like this book review is almost too simple a database for some of this. I should have made it a little more complicated. Okay, so I'm in there. I'm going to go to the Solution Explorer. Maybe.
This is equivalent to the application for assistance for that.
Right, because what we want to do in that one, in the application for assistance, is have a drop-down list of the assistance types, the grant types, so that you can see, so that they can choose whether they want food or medical, one of those categories. So there'll be a drop-down list for that one too. Okay, so it finally went here. One of the things that I noticed that it does, it takes it a while to revalidate. So there it goes. So it came back. So when you get the red underlines, if you don't panic for about 3 minutes, it go away. So where do we start? Usually. I don't think I need to change the model. I mean, I think we can use the, let me zoom. Nothing is working very well. There it goes. Yes, usually controller. You're right, though, the model would be first, so we need to make sure that there is a model. I didn't want the stupid web. I was looking up MAGG because did it open my mind? There it is. All right, so what I wanted to show over here is that we have a model, right? We're going to do a new review. And I think we can use this. So one of the things that we need is the book key. And the way we're going to get the book key is through the drop-down list. And then we'll get the reviewer key from the session variable, right? Because you should log in to do this. So I think we can just use the review class that's already there. I would use the ones that is built for you when you can. They don't always work because they model the tables directly, and sometimes you want to group things in other ways. But the review, I think we can do as is. All right, so I don't need to add to the model, so I will add to the control. I'm going to do right-click, and I'm going to add a controller. And I'm going to make it an empty controller. And then I'll hold and let you guys catch up a little. And my empty controller will be called, you could call it review controller, I guess. and I will add. And then, as I said, I'll hold and let you guys catch up. Mine takes forever to create the controller anyway. What are they cooking? I can smell it. The kitchens are right down below us. I can smell it cooking.
So the smell from the.
Yeah. All right, so we have our review controller. Yeah.
What did you just do? Sorry.
So I just opened up and we're starting a new controller.
Okay. And it's called.
Review controller. We're gonna add a thing for people to be able to do reviews. So as I said, I'll let you guys get caught up and then we'll move forward. And this is in preparation for really the last assignment, which is to add a grant, and then there's the project. How many weeks are left? 3?
I think this week's
Is it? I'll have to look, but 3 isn't too bad. 3 is it's a good long time to be able to do your project. It's longer than you probably need. But that'll be good. As I said, we've moved through these really fast. Last quarter, we barely had a week to do the project. It took so much longer, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's a smaller class. Or maybe you guys are just a lot smarter.
What's the last week of class technically? Is it the 4th through the 8th? Or the yeah, I think finals is after that, like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, I think that's true. I could look real quick. In a few minutes, I'll look. Basically, too, although I don't think any of you will need that, probably, but I will accept assignments certainly through finals week, and I usually accept through the weekend. And this time, I don't think I'm going anywhere right away, like the week after. In the week in between, I don't have any travel plans or anything, so I could probably grade up through. I'm not sure when the grades will be due. Typically, they're due like the Monday after the week to that finals week, Monday or Tuesday after. All right, are you guys set up? You have a new controller, a review controller? Okay. So just add a controller, and we'll do an empty controller, and then just add. Just name it review controller. You're still loading. We do not need to create a data class. We're going to use the review class. That's all. Your assignment will be, yes. This one is with the book review thing. So as I was saying earlier too, the one thing we're going to add that's different about this is we're going to do a drop-down list so that you can choose what book you're going to review. In the community assist, you'll want a drop-down list of the grant types. So a couple of things I'm going to do here, and this wouldn't be too hard to catch up on. We need to, of course, add our reference to our model. So using book review Spring 18 in my case, whatever the name of your application is, models. That just floats. It's really hard to. All right. I need, actually, I probably don't need, so I'm going to do,
You need data entities,
what?
data and system data and data entities.
You don't need that. Why? What are you looking at?
Those,
System data?
yeah, system data and data entities.
Not yet. I'm gonna put that into the method when we do it.
Take away.
The reason, you should always give things the most limited scope possible, and we only need it in one method, so. That's just a general programming rule. You should always give any variable the most limited scope possible. Makes it easier to control. All right, so in here, I'm going to do a quick if, and we're going to do kind of like what we did with the, the ad book and the donation. If the session, and those should be square brackets, not curly braces. And I think I named it person key. Does anybody remember? I could go look in, I'm having trouble typing. All right. And was it capped like that?
Yes. So, yeah.
So I'm going to do if it not equal null. Or if it, let's just do if it does equal null. So if it equals null, we want to basically redirect. So do we were just doing like result, right? Return. Well, let's do message first, I guess. MSG equals, I'll just do this one because a lot of you didn't do the constructor. So the message text is equal, you must be logged in to do a review. And then what we will do is we will redirect. So it's return. So redirect action, redirect to action. And then result, and then comma message. So that should be just like what we did before, pretty much. Is there any questions on that? This is to make sure that they're logged in. Now I could redirect them to the login page, which might make more sense, right? But we were doing this message, and then the login is up on the menu. One of the things that I haven't done with this when we're doing this, setting this up, which would be really worth the time, is I haven't done any kind of overall frame, wireframing and figuring out the UI, what works, what is most convenient for the user, how do you set the, you would want to do that just like you would with any web page. You'd want to go through and figure out the best user experience for somebody using this site. And I haven't done that. I'm just showing code mostly. I'm not a great web designer. In fact, I'm a pretty pathetic one. I can write the back end. Front end sometimes is a problem. All right, so there's one other thing we're going to do here, and this is new. Where do I have a typo? Oh, into. You must be logged in to create a review. That actually wouldn't affect anything in the code, but yeah, it wouldn't make sense. You're right. So up above the return view, I'm going to add a view bag. Do you remember I mentioned view bags? And I'm going to name it, what do I want to name it? I'm going to name it book list. And I hope I don't regret that. Equals, and then basically what it's going to equal is a new select list. Oh, and I do need this in two places. So before I finish this, up at the top of the class, so you were right. Yeah, I know. So I'm going to do not community assist, wrong one. Book review, DB entities. Yeah, equals new. Because I need the DB there. Book review DB entities. And because I am actually going to need it in both methods, I will do it up here. So in the select list, I am going to do DB dot books. So there's books. I'm missing books. And then I'm going to do comma, and we're going to say what fields we want. Book key and book title. So a view bag is a weird little thing. I actually prefer to pass things through objects, but you can only pass one object. And we'll have an object which is the review, which will be for the form. So what this does is the view bag is basically a way of passing other things besides the one object. So when we create the form for the review will be the model, right? And you can only have one model. So if you want to get something else in there, you need a view bag. That's what they call it. It's basically just a bag of variables that you can pass through. And one of the things that we're going to pass through, and you can have multiple book bags, view bags. We have to give them different names. So this is view bag book list. We could have view bag, another view bag if we wanted.
So why, when you selected the name book list, did you say, I hope I don't regret this? What could go
Well,
wrong with that?
probably nothing will go wrong with it. I was just thinking that we're creating a list of books. I'm just hoping it doesn't get confused with this object. I need to be careful not to name the book list somewhere else. Although we will refer to that in the form because it needs to know the name of the view bag that it's pulling from. But view bags are basically ways of passing other variables to the view. It is possible, like this, if you wanted to return we wouldn't return to this view because we're redirecting them. But you might be able to have a view bag on the, the registration, the index form that would pull up, or somewhere that would pull up, maybe the login form that would pass a message to that. There's a lot you can do. As I said, we're just kind of getting the gist of it. But that's this whole first method, and then we need to do the one with the HTTP and the post, right? Are there questions on that? It's a little bit confusing. The only thing, this part we did, before. And then this is just checking to make sure they're logged in. This is the one new thing in this part. We're going to pass them a list of books with the book key and the book title. If you look over here, I know you can't see it because it's tiny, but we need the book key. And one of the things that you can do with a list is you can have two values. Well, actually, what you have is a key value. And you can pass the key while showing this. Right, so you can pass the book key while showing the title. And we will do that. And it does it pretty transparently without having to do much.
So what do we do for this?
Well, so if you were doing community assist, instead of books, you'd want grant types, and grant type key and grant type name. So I'm going to do the next method, and this one will have the post, right? Because this will be what happens after we push the button. Oh, hi. I wasn't expecting you. So I'm going to do the, so it is recording too. So we're going to do validate anti-forgery token too. And I'm going to, so this will be the public action result. Index. All right. And we're going to do that bind, right? Just like we've done before. So bind include equals and then a string with all the names that we need. So we need like the book key, reviewer key. Not all of these will be passed through the form, right? We need the review date. In fact, very few of them will be. Review title. Review text. And I'm going to do review rating as well. I'm going to press enter and then just to keep it on screen. And then I'm going to make this as a review. And I'm just going to name it R. Okay. So again, I'm just doing the fields that belong to the built-in class. The book key will be passed from the drop-down list. The reviewer key, so I'm going to basically say r.reviewer key equals int session person key, right? So we're getting the person key from the session. They shouldn't be on this page if they're not logged in. So this should exist. The reason you have to cast it to an int, did I explain that? You have to cast it to whatever type it is. Because session stores object. Everything is a descendant of object, even int. So you have to cast it from object to whatever kind it is. And you can store other objects in there. I mean, you can store, besides integer, you can store customer or something if you wanted to. You can store objects in the session. But we need to cast it to an int. So I'm saying that the reviewer key is equal to that. The reviewer date is the other thing we can do here. So I'm going to just do review date. And you could have them enter the date if you want. But I'm just going to say it's equal to date time now. So it'll just put the current date stamp on it. And then there's not a lot to do. I'm going to do db.reviews. So I'm looking for reviews. Dot add, and we're going to add our review to that collection of reviews. And then I am going to save changes. So db.save changes. The syntax for these is actually really, really simple, as I said, for the most part, because of the entity thing that they've done for you. You just add this to the collection and then you save changes and it'll write it. So a lot of what it's doing is kind of mysterious behind it. So just saying, we need to do a return. So we could do a message. You could, if you wanted. I'm going to do something that I haven't done before, but just to show you some minimal error trapping, I'm going to do a try. And I'm going to put the other curly brace on the other side of the. Have you guys done try catches before? So what happens is you're trying this code.
And scroll up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do catch. And I'm going to do exception. And I'm just going to call it E. All right. So, and then curly braces. What happens is the try tries this code. If everything works, it just does it, right? If there's an exception, if there's an error, it'll fall down here and do whatever you say to do in the catch. This is just basic error trapping, and we could do a lot of it. It doesn't capture everything. It doesn't capture HTTP errors, like if there's something wrong with the web form, or if there's something wrong with the, it'll only capture things in terms of writing these conditions. Error trapping can be more complicated than this, but this gives you some simple error trapping. One of the other things I'm going to do in here is I'm going to create a message. I'll just call this one M, although I don't think it matters if it's named the same. Equals new message. And my new has little dots under it, at least up above it did, because with the way I set it up, there's a more efficient way to do this. But M dot message text equals, let's just say thank you for your review. And then I'm going to do return redirect to action. And then we'll send it to result. And we'll pass it the message to M. And what we'll do down in the exception is we will return redirect to action. Oh, actually, let's make a different message. We can finish this. I'll fix that in a moment. What's up above it? We'll do the message. And I'm going to do M dot message text equals E dot.
Would I scroll up again, please?
Yeah, just a second. So what I'm passing it is the error message. Errors are objects, right, that you can do, and then here I'm going to just do the result. M. So if there is an error, it'll pass the error message to the result page. Errors are objects that you can actually create your own errors. I'll help you get that. Questions on that? That's actually everything we need for the controller. So let me walk through the controller from the top, and then we'll go to the form. It's not going to take too long today, so you'll have some time to work. So we did a new controller, review controller. We're checking to make sure that they're logged in, right? If they're not logged in, we'll say that they have to be. We're passing a list of books to the form, and then we're returning the empty view, the view just as it is. This is after you press the button to submit, and we're binding it to the review class that we got pre-built. We're assigning the key from the session and the date just as current date. Adding it to reviews, we're saving it. If there's anything that goes, actually if everything goes well, we just tell them thank you for the review. If there's any errors, we give them the error message. Okay, so any questions on that before I go to the form? You need a minute? I will post it. I don't know, Python, does Python have try catches? Is it there now?
Yeah,
They do. I'm trying to think if I ever used it.
it's called try except.
Try except.
Yeah.
So if you do it in Java, it's exactly like this. Right? And if you do it in C++, it's exactly like that. I mean, exactly. There's no variant. You have it, or you need a minute? Well, we'll run it and test it in a moment. So we've got the controller. We used the model that was already there. So now we'll add the view. I'll zoom up, I guess, for the view to add it. Yeah.
We don't have a result.
Oh, we should add a result. Thank you. You're right. I would have noticed that when I got an error. Did I accidentally? Oh, I know why. I don't want to go in there. I want to go in here. Did I accidentally kill a curly brace somewhere? I think this one needs one more curly brace. All right, so this is just to add the result thing. Public action result without the $sign. Result, and it takes in a message argument. And again, notice I'm using things over and over. They're in different scopes, so it doesn't matter much. So I'm just going to return view with a capital V. Hopefully it'll capitalize. It did. MSG, and that's it. Generally, what would have happened if I hadn't done that is that when it tried to redirect, I think it would have just said that it can't find it. It doesn't exist. It does exist in the shared folders, but it does need a redirect there. Okay, so that's that. That's our whole controller. You might notice, I mean, all of the stuff that we've done, we haven't written a ton of code. You know, a lot of this stuff works pretty well without much code. The hard part for me are the forms, which we're going to do now. And they're not super hard if you cheat like I do and just copy. So under views, if we go down there, I'm going to collapse models just so that there's more showing. If you go under views, there's one that should be for review and it has nothing under it. So I'm going to add a view. This is in my way. So I'm right clicking on review. You always go to the folder you want. Add view. And again, I'm just going to name it index. It has to have the same name as your controller methods. If you want to name it something other than index, you can, but you have to change the names of the methods in the controller to match it. The only way it knows which view to activate is by the name of the method. So I'm going to do add. So, and I think there's, what do we need to, so we're going to get the book key from a drop-down. We need the title and the text is all we need. So we need basically 3 things. I'm going to unzoom now, if I can find it. All right, so we need to add our model, right? That's a 2. That's not what I want. I want an at model. And then it's our book review spring 18 dot models dot review. I'm going to go steal a form from somewhere. I think login. I'm going to go to the login form because it's close. I'm going to take from begin form down to the end. Go back to my review form. It'll go there. For some reason, I'm spinning. Spinning and spinning. All right, so I'm going to paste there. I'm going to change a few things. Yeah, it's okay there. So I'm going to say, instead of index, I'll do new review. Where it says book, I'm going to do review. Does my login say book? I should change that. Now, I'm going to change this. So label 4 I'm going to leave. And I'm going to do this as, we could call it just book key. And instead of editor 4, I am going to do a drop-down list. And let me look at this. So it's going to be a little bit different from this because it's coming from this. So I'm going to say book list. Right, this is the name of our view bag. I'm going to put a null here. So I'm going to put different things in here. I'm going to do a null. Not entirely sure why it's null, but there's something. HTML attributes. Equals new. So new colon new. Curly braces. I'm copying this, obviously. It's not something I could remember. At class. Oh, the class is just, and that's a curly brace, not a. So class equal form control.
For the book list, we just name it like whatever we want.
It's whatever you named it
Oh,
in the controller. So the book list that I'm getting there, and I'm going to change this. This I'm going to leave the same, but I'm going to change it to book key. So in the controller, I named this up here. I named it book list right here.
yeah.
So it has to match that. All right, so down here, this one we want the we've got the review date. We're going to get the reviewer. We want the review title. So I'm changing that to review title. So they'll give a title to their review. That's just a regular text box. We also want the rating. So I'm going to copy that whole group thing. We'll add another one. And we'll do this one as, instead of review title, we'll do it as, is it review rating? Yes, review rating. And we'll do that for those three. I do a lot based on going back to the dot and letting IntelliSense guide me. Right, oops, went too far. Model dot, and then I can say, you know, review rating. When I need to see what fields I need, I look at that quite a bit. Why does that? Oh, it's fine now. I'm going to copy again or paste again because I need one more thing, which is review text. And then we'll be done with this. So I'm just adding text. Actually, don't have to go all the way to the. And for the button, instead of login, I'm going to say just submit. That the value is just the text. And I think everything is done. So the one weird thing we did, drop down list, and then I changed that to book list, which is the name of our view bag. The null, I'm not sure what argument we're doing is null, but I looked this up and that's usually there is null. HTML attributes, colon, new, curly brace, and then this is it's a form control at class equals. I still think that's a Bootstrap style, so it's possible you could change that if you want it. We're using the book key throughout, and rather than the book title, because that's the field that we want to pass, right? Not the title. Let's see if this works. First thing it's going to do is it's going to throw me. I'm going to run this, so it should throw me to. Let's add it. Let's add it to shared, so I don't have to path it in the thing. So I'm going to go to the layout. And I'm going to add it to the thing. So I'm just going to copy that. But this one I'm going to say is add review. Wish that mouse would not float so much. Index, and then it's review is the folder. That way, and this is in that shared layout. That way, when I get redirected to the login, I can do that. I don't remember any logins. Let's see if it has some memory for me, I guess. So I'm going to go back to my form here. So it should throw me back to the login. I'm going to run it, then we can walk through it again, and I'll post it. Now, there's another thing that I don't have an assignment for, but we probably should look and see all the reviews, things like that on the book. We could add that if you guys want, but it's not part of any assignment. Boy, that's slow. Why is that so slow? There it goes. All right, come on. You can do this. Just give me the web page. Did you guys' work? It's likely to be more faster than mine. It should go to the login. It should redirect to the login. That's what it should do. Why is it so slow? In the meantime, wow. There it goes. We got at least the web page. So right now it says review index, and it should pop back to login fairly soon. Boy, that's so slow though. My machine is just really whatever's going on it. So come on, we can do this. I have many virtual machines at home, and they still only take a second to get on. So I'm not sure why they took so long. If it never comes, I would stop it and start it again because I might run faster, but I do not know. Yeah. Did yours pop up? Oh. What is the, why is it hung there? I don't think it's finding an error. Let's look at the controller. So this would be the review controller. No, I don't have an error on the review controller. I'm not getting an error. It's just taking forever. I'm going to try one more time on this. Well, it wasn't even just stopping it is taking forever. All right, so I'm going to build it, although I think it was built at the end of that.
We get an entity validation error.
So that means there's something wrong in your bind statement, I think. Let's see if I can get. Okay, so it succeeded. Is it going to go faster this time? I'll come and troubleshoot in just a minute. I just want to see if I can get mine to work. Okay, it's moving a little faster. Of course, I ran it from the controller, so it's going to go to the main page.
We get our app runs, but we don't get a table that lead us to see the
Well, let me see the.
keys and titles.
You won't see the keys.
Title.
You'll just see the titles.
I see nothing for this. It's login.
Well, let me look and see what we got here in a second. It should work, and I'll come troubleshoot. But why is mine taking so long? This is just ridiculous. I've never seen it take so long. There's no, sometimes it takes this because it freezes because there's an error, but there's no error listed. It's not showing any break. So that shows no exceptions. Everything seems fine. Why is it taking so long? I bet it's downloading massive updates in the background. There's a brand new update to Windows. It's a big one that's coming through. Hey, we got book reviews. So let's go. If I try to go to add review, it's just going to throw me to login. Hopefully it'll do that quickly. You must be logged in to create a review. So then I need to go to login. So I'm hoping that this gives me, it's not giving me. So we did best reader, password. I don't know which one that was. Let's do, is it Brown? Boy, slow. Okay, so did that work? Thank you. You have a good memory. So now I'm going to add a review. Now it says I have to log in to add a review. But it said I had been welcomed. You know what? I need to check something. I don't want to restart though. The fact that it said that I wasn't logged in. Let's go look at the login control. It's a reviewer key here. I don't have, it's reviewer key, not person key. For mine, it has to match what's in the login when we do it. So there it's reviewer key. And so I need this as reviewer key. So let's just run. Let's hope it doesn't take so long this time. I'll come, as I said, troubleshoot in just a minute. I just want to make sure it works before I troubleshoot, because if it doesn't, I may need to fix. Like I needed my reviewer key didn't match my login key. It's a little faster this time. So it should give me that error, the result one. Please don't take forever.
That works.
It works.
Yeah.
It should work. I just can't get there because nothing is moving on
The
mine.
drop down works as well, and I can
This will be painful on the video too. It has 0 exceptions. Please hurry up and do this. All right, so I need to be logged in to do a review. So I'm going to do a login. And I will do best reader Brown Pass login. Boy, this is slow. I've never seen it so slow. What is it doing? So, okay, so now we're there. So now I'm going to go add book. And it should work this time. Oh, I didn't want to add book. I want to do add review. All right, notice that I do have a list of all my books. All right, so let's do, anybody have a book I want should review? Coraline. So, anybody have a title for that? I've read Coraline, but it's fantasy, but one of the reviews I read of it, I remember said that it was much scarier than many adult horror. Yeah, the book is actually even more frightening in some ways than the movie. So rating is going to be a number. I like Neil Gaiman a lot, actually. So review text. I'm just going to, this is a really good novel. It's really about childhood and parents. And parents with the button eyes. That's actually a pretty scary idea.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that for right now. It's not much of a review, but we'll do submit and hopefully it will go. Oh, object reference not set to an instance of an object. Is that what you were getting?
Yeah.
So what did I forget? Something
The
is,
view,
what?
right? The visual view.
Well, let me look at the review controller. So it's in there. Something isn't new. So we create a reviewer R. We bind include.
8.
What isn't made? What isn't what is not being done? What is it actually returned? I closed that, but I think it actually went to the result and returned the message. So something wasn't set to a. What did I do that isn't an object? Oh, this. Reviewer key. Reviewer key in the down here in the try catch in the thing. I had person key. It's reviewer key, and that was the error. That object doesn't exist. And it did work in that. It went down here and it passed the message to the. Now it should work. I don't know if I want to start it again. It's because I used the wrong one again. So one last try. You guys are all working on your assignment though anyway, right? Are those errors there? Different errors?
Also in the controller. So. We have person key and application key, all those. So the only ones you want in the actual form are the request amount, date, and release.
That should be right. The date you can actually do. So, yeah, so you're thinking.
But we also need to have
The status key, I think you could just set to quiet.
and then what about the grant application?
Then
You can set that as something.
I would just leave it out. It won't work.
So, but, so it's in the table, it's not, if you were to put this in, just fine.
Yes, no, because that's a soundless. Yeah. So no, it's if you want to,
See, it worked, they took out, they didn't have.
Really?
so I would take the grant estimate.
Oh,
If you do, you can actually do exclude.
okay, so I can take that out and take the other ones out too.
Which one? You should actually have. Yeah, that's required.
I can probably take the.
That's fine. The allocation, that's fine. Yeah. Your whole Visual Studio stuff. All right, I'm gonna try one last time. If this works, then I will kill the video and we'll do the, so I'm going to log in one more time.
Originally it was grant type.
What grant type key should come in from the thing? Did you do in your form, you did grant type key rather than grant type name or something? All right, so I'm gonna choose, I guess I'll do Coraline again.
Where are you getting the grant type key from?
It should come from the drop-down list. You have a drop-down list?
Yeah, I do. How do you set that into the drop-down list? Okay.
What was the error?
Japan is you set it on the view index. And the first.
Where are you setting it equal to that?
What? So book key here from the
Yeah.
drop-down list. If I go to, and I'm still having an error, I'm not sure what it is. If I go to the form, so here's the drop-down list.
Yeah.
And it says the model is book key. Book list is this, book key, book key. So you would want the grant key, grant type key, grant type key. That basically what you're telling it is you're passing the key.
That's what I have that.
You do have that,
Yeah.
but it's not giving you the key?
Well, I'm still getting, you might have.
Well, I don't get to catch the we saw that.
So I'm still having a problem and I'm not sure what it is. I wish I could run faster so it'd be easier to debug this. Says there's an inner exception. I'm not sure what that is.
Entry, same entry.
This worked the last time I run it, so I don't know. I mean, when I did it last quarter, it worked fine. Are you feeling better? Is it a cold or just allergies? Sinus. I'm hoping this will come up quickly. I'm still having a problem, so I'm trying to troubleshoot mine. Before I upload it, I want it to work.
Yeah, so here, I still have the same. Grand Tech key that passed, right?
Right.
And then reason. Validation notes.
Alright, so let's go into the. No. So it's showing. No, you know what? You're in grant application. Is yours name reviewer? Your section name is, well, I guess it must. Looks like it's. No, you have review. Yeah, right up there. On the page. You might have to take the track for a little bit because it's not. They're still running, but I may have to do that too, actually. I hate because this is taking so long. One of the things with the try catch, if you're having an error, it's passing on the error message, but you can't get to the actual error in the code because it's handled. So I am going to comment these. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to comment out the catch. I will return them. Yeah, well, oh, it does, doesn't it?
You can just comment out the message if you're not gonna need it. That's just like there, right?
Yeah, so let's just comment out the whole catch. Okay, so what I want to do is I want it to crash so I can see what is crashing. Right, so which one? One of the things you can do, I'll show you in a sec. So the video at the end of this is going to be this. So go, let's look at G. So put your cursor over G. And hit the little dot down there. So there you go. No, why?
Allocation.
Oh, yeah, that's down. And application no.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, where, so I know that we're passing the don't we have to assign it to G? No, we have to have a type G in that list. Yeah, it should be, yeah. Oh, you know what? Put it in comment. Yeah, because that could be. Yeah, there should be a comment or two, otherwise the treatment is done. Right. Oh, actually look at your. Application status. Is there a typo in your? There's a so. Should be fine, when you get the intelligence, it is there, it's not good.
No, when you do the intelligence, that's the option.
You know what, though, I know what the problem is. Yeah, that's the problem. And I think that's probably the problem on mine. I'm going to, before I run this. When I broke it, no, I've got commas. So it's not my problem. So let's run it again.
So it works now, but the grant type key isn't going through.
It isn't going through.
Still remaining null.
I may have to look at that. Oh. It works before.
You capture that drop down list somehow and assign it.
Well, it actually should get it. It should take it. If it's assigned to the grant type, I will look at my last one, but I'm pretty sure.
In this, we're not really assigning anything to the grant type. We're just assigning it an index to create the drop down list.
Right, but that should do that. I mean, it still should pass in the key.
Yeah, but that's kind of action. Still has it. Yeah, has it now.
All right, so it should crash now. Oh, it's interfering with a foreign key conception. But that may be, I wonder if it's not passing my,
Yeah.
it isn't, so let's look at this. It's not passing the book key on mine either. Let me look at something real quickly. I'm going to look at the GitHub. So not. Mine actually had a 0 in there, which is interesting. So let's do. So I'm going to look at the one I did last quarter because it worked. And I don't think I did anything different, but let me see. So I'm going to look under the controllers, the review, not the reviewer controller. The review, book review controller. So we did this exactly the same, right? Select list, return to, that's working because it's doing the
I
thing.
think it's in the index where it's where
Well, we got book key, reviewer key, review date, review title, review rating, review text. So it's just passing it from there. So let's look at the index. So if I do review, book review, index. Drop down list, book key. Book key is because that's what I named my thing. HTML attributes, new, at class equals form control. I don't have anything different. Well, I tell you what, how I'm doing, I will see why it's not passing because it worked last time. I'm really not doing anything different.
Can you go back to your view bag on the GitHub right there?
Yeah. This is the one. Well, this is actually the code. You want to see the one from the GitHub? So let's go back to the debug. So I want to go, yeah. Did I do anything different? I called it book key then, but it's really just the name of it there. I don't see anything different there, except that I named it book list instead of book key.
Then you go to your yeah.
I really can't see that this would make a difference, but let's name this book key. and then I'll go to the index and then change this to book key. Although, as I said, I think that's just confusing because that's just the name of the book bag. Let's look at the GitHub view again. I don't think there's anything. Actually, that's working because the book list and all of that was working in the sense that it was showing the drop down.
Yeah, but yeah, it's why it's not.
I remember one of Gada last time had a couple of class form group, model label 4, drop down list, book key, null, HTML. I don't see.
So the one thing you have right here, this HTML validation summary true. That's
Yeah.
not the last one. Oops, sorry.
And that's not on the other one?
No. You go back.
Doesn't have the HTML. I wonder if that makes any difference.
You still have a different thing there in the label. Well, that's the image.
Well, that's no. This is the image as well. So.
We'll take this one. The second file there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that shouldn't be there. I mean, because this is book key, grant type key doesn't belong in there at all. That's from a copy and paste when I screwed up, I think. But it worked last time.
So it's last quarter NBC book review.
That's just the label, what it's going to show. Let me try getting rid of the validation and see if that makes a difference. It shouldn't, but. So with this one, so I didn't have the validation summary, right? Let's see if that makes a difference. I guess troubleshooting is a good exercise, but please don't hang forever. I really hate wasting time on the. If that doesn't work, what I will do is I will research it. I do remember one student last time could not make it work with my code, although most everybody else's worked. She found a workaround. I think she changed that null to something else. All right, so I'm going to log in. This is my last shot for today.
I got rid of it and it still has.
It still has the same error. Yeah, I'm not sure why it would have any effect on the taking forever just to log in. Okay, so I'm there. Add review. I never had problems with this before like this, so. So thank you for your review.
Oh, yeah, it runs the rest of the result.
So let me see if it actually did it. So getting rid of that validation message might have been what we needed. So I'm going to kill it, and I'm going to go look and see if it actually wrote into the data. So review, show table data. Yes, it did write it.
Did you get the grant type key?
I got the book key, yeah. So the only thing that I did that's different is what you suggested. I killed that that validation for the drop-down list. I don't know what that does or why that worked. I'll come around and check on you guys'. Since mine is working,
Which validation? Oh, that one, the true.
yeah, I'll come. I'm gonna
Awesome.
put mine up to GitHub, and then I'll come around and we'll see if we can get
Does yours
yours
still
working.
have the things commented out on it?
Oh, it does. Let me.
I'm wondering if that's why I got that.
Maybe I should. So, is there a cancel here?
So we're still not getting the grant type key.
You're still not getting the grant type key, and you have the grant type key up here, right?
Yeah.
Model grant type key. So this is just the book key, grant type key, grant type key. I'll look in a moment. Before I update, though, I want to uncomment.
And look at the color of the controller.
Yeah, just a sec. I'm just going to build real quickly. I'm just doing book review commit. I'm going to commit all and push. And then let me kill the video and I'll come look. All right, so it says it's successfully committed. Let's go down here, kill the video, which has a whole bunch of troubleshooting at the end.